Welcome back to Pen and Prosper, a podcast where JT Lawrence is coaching me, Melissa Delport, to be a six-figure author, and we are putting it on the internet. Hello, JT.
Hi, Delport. How are you?
I'm very, very good. I'm very excited. Tom Donnelly is back this week, and he is discussing all things Hollywood with us.
Yes.
I know
Excited.
you've heard him speak before
Heard
on this
him,
topic.
yes. I've heard him on various podcasts. He's been on the Jonah Penn show and other ones, and he always comes across so beautifully, you'll see. And he also gave a talk in Ireland, which was fantastic. So yeah, let's dive in.
Let's dive in. Before we dive in, as excited as we are, there are a few thanks that we should make.
Oh, yes. Let's do that.
Thank you to our paid subscribers. Thank you to Elise, our editor extraordinaire. And thank you to our official sponsor, Vellum, the beautiful book formatting software that we could not live without. We do have that code for anyone who wants to try Vellum. You can play before you pay and format as many books as you want. You just cannot generate them without buying the software. Spoiler alert, the software is super affordable and everyone should have it. JT, what is that code?
It is vellum.com/pen and prosper.
Okay, should we get stuck in? Let's do it.
Okay, so our second episode with Tom Donnelly, who is in this pod teaching us about Hollywood. It's like every author's nirvana, right? Like getting your book made, either Netflix series or a Hollywood movie. I mean, it's just like I would die happy. I would die happy if I could just walk on the set of one of my books being filmed, and yeah, what else is there to say? Welcome, Tom. Thank you so much.
You've been on sets before, haven't you?
Good
to be here.
It's for advertising. So, like, I used to love it, absolutely love it, but it was different. It's like, now we're filming a butter commercial, And I'm like, wow, they're actually like using the way I set up the shot, and they're like using some of my words, and how exciting is that? But really, I mean, there's a
It's not
huge
the
difference.
same.
Yes. It's not like working with, let's say, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
For
Yes.
example.
All right.
All right.
It just so happens today is an interesting day. The day we're filming this is the day that Matt Dinniman's series got picked up by Peacock. So Dungeon Crawler Carl was just announced today is on the
I'm
schedule.
busy reading that.
Going to get made.
Amazing. Can I tell you, like, this is just so I can brag that, like, I've had a conversation with Matt Dinniman before, but we were sitting in New Zealand and having a drink together, and like a few of us, not just me and Matt, we're not that close. And he was so excited about something on his phone, and he was like, I'm not allowed to show you, but I'm going to show you. And I'm like, oh my God. And the whole green light apparently for the show depended on whether the cats would perform. Because if the cats can't perform, it's not going to work. So they had to test, and it happened that
Well,
way.
the CG cat, yeah.
Yes. So they have these two beautiful cats, and they have they're wearing their little suits, to give the information to the whatever, like the movement of information and stuff, the haptic suit or whatever it is. He was like, that day they filmed that thing, and he wasn't sure if they'd passed the test, and he just couldn't wait. And then now, isn't that amazing? I'm so excited.
So before we start, I have to tell you, I nominated his book for my book club. And just to put into perspective, the book club that I have is quite a conservative, like the ladies are very they like a little thriller, and they're not very adventurous. I'm a very adventurous reader, and I'm a genre hopper. And I nominated Dungeon Crawler Carl for our book of the month. And they were a little bit not a little bit, they were a lot hesitant. They were like, what? And I was like, no, ladies, come on, we got it straight. Anyway, the feedback so far, they are loving it. They're all like, never anything like this. But when I say opening so many, the whole group is just shocked that they're enjoying it so much. I'm infinitely relieved, because I'm like, can you imagine they'd hated it? I never would have had any power to nominate something so different. So yeah, so I'm so excited. I'm like,
that is brilliant. It reminds me of Tom's lesson about the 4 quadrants that he might tell us about.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Tom?
Indeed.
Okay, good.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But first I have to ask Delport, when is You're the Rabbit on your list?
That'll be the next one. And they love, this looks like this is the kind of book I won't have to do any persuading. I'll be like, we're going to read this, sign up, done.
And do they read urban fantasy? Have they ever read yours?
Hollywood guy wrote a book.
Yes. Friend, they don't read. Some of them read fantasy. Some of them have, but not really. They're very traditional, thriller, romance, mainstream.
Sure. I'm just interesting if they read your books and I don't
I'll
know.
give them one of
It'd
the
be quite
spicy
uncomfortable.
ones. I'll give them the smutty ones.
Yeah, in New Zealand, I got to Matt and I were on the stage together. A 500-seat theater in Auckland, completely sold out. It was on his basically tour for his newer book that was not in the series,
Yes.
Operation Bounce House.
Yes.
And so we were talking about that, and then we had like a 2-hour interview, him and me on stage, and an absolute blast. It was it was really, really fantastic.
Amazing.
Time.
Amazing.
And because I was interviewing him, I have a standing rule that I want to read a book from every writer I'm friends with, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big TBR.
Yeah.
That's a huge, huge list. But I'm slowly working my way through it. And I realized, oh, damn, I've only read the first Dungeon Caller Carl book. I got to read more if I'm going to be interviewing him. So I started reading, and I'm through 7 of 8, I think.
Oh, wow.
And they are fantastic. It is very Harry Potter. They get denser and more involved, and
Wonderful.
the lore and the themes become much more meaningful. It's amazing. It's really fantastic. I highly recommend you keep going.
Tom, so what's the first thing you think authors should know about possibly getting their stuff put on screen?
Oh, good question. The first thing you should know is that it is pretty much impossible to get a book made into a movie or television series in Hollywood. And yet it happens
Thanks for
every
coming.
day. That's the way we have to think about it.
Yeah, I love that.
It happens every day. Okay. So we have to adopt the big risk, big reward strategy here.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is to say that if you follow every tip I give you, if you do everything right, and you have paid very close attention to everything I say, you still are probably only having a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 chance of it panning out. That said, that is like, do you know what the Powerball lottery in the United States is? 300 million to 1.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the odds are not
sounds like
terrible.
amazing. They're not terrible. They're not great. They're still long, but they're not that long. And Hollywood is a market like any other, and you guys know how to write to market. If you can write to one market, you can write to Hollywood, but you have to know what Hollywood is looking for, because it is a very, very specific, very particular market. And I'm going to talk about how to do that. Sound good? Jump into it?
Yes, please, let's dive in.
All right. So I'm repped at CAA. That's the largest agency in Hollywood by a long shot. They send me minimum 30 books a month. They don't send me the books. They send me a little breakdowns of what the book is, in the hopes that I will say that's something I want to check out. I might want to engage on that. Then if I ask them for more, they'll send me coverage, which is, 3 to 4 pages, which gives me the entire outline of the thing and what whoever read it, what their notes were on it. I ignore the notes completely. I just read the synopsis and figure out if it's something I want to read. And if it is, then they have a messenger that will bring me that book that day, and I will start reading it. And if I want to engage, then I start talking to producers. I start going in and pitching the book and trying to get the project set up. And over the years, I've gotten a lot of things, or helped to get a lot of things set up that way. Been very, very fortunate. I worked with Ray Bradbury for 3 months. I worked with Clive Cussler for the better part of a year. I worked with Stan Lee, Robert Kirkman, who did The Walking Dead. Like I've been able to work with a lot of really top authors and help their works become movies and television shows and video games even. So you learn things over time. You learn exactly what Hollywood is looking for. And the fact of the matter is that of the 30 things that my agency sends me every month, most months there's nothing. And I can tell already that there's nothing. Not that there's nothing for anybody, but there's definitely nothing for me. And it's because not all books make good movies. That's the sad part of the matter. The number one thing we're looking for is 80. Yes, go ahead, Delport. Yes.
No, I just wanted to ask, for that step of the process, you say your agent sends you those books. How did they make that selection before they decide to send it to you? Or is that coming later?
They have a book. They have a book to TV literary department that has acquired the rights to shop these projects to Hollywood.
Right.
And the top ones, those don't even go on that list. Those aren't even sent to me. The top ones, those are given right to their top producers, so that they have a deal in place that producer has to make 2 more projects for them, and it's their business to feed them the very best of the best. Depending on where I am in the Hollywood hierarchy, which is, I've had times when I've been as high in the A-list as you can get, right? When Doctor Strange was getting made and things like that. I've had times when I've been B minus, but you're still getting a lot of things sent your way, especially things that fit what you do, the kind of things that you write. So that'll still happen that way. Sometimes it's not even books. Sometimes it is magazine articles. Occasionally will be things that people buy the rights to and can get made. So video games come from a lot of. I was one of the writers on the movie Uncharted, which is a very, very well done video game that we adapted into a movie. Yeah. So the number one thing is in the indie space, especially, we are trained to write to our genre, right? And to get really, really granular and specific on exactly what the genre is. We want our cover to say at one glance, that's that genre, I get it. Because if somebody picks up our book expecting one thing and getting another, that's how we get the 2-star, 1-star reviews, right? We don't want those. So we have to write to our genre. And when we're in our genre, we have to hit the tropes that people are expecting of us, right? Gotta nail all those tropes, because if we don't, again, you write a romance without a happily ever after, and you haven't told people that this is a book without a happily ever after, you are going to get hate mail. Holy cow, those romance readers are crazy. It's amazing. So you have to do that. In Hollywood, we do not just want genre. We want genre plus. We want elevated genre. The way I put it is 80-20. We want 80% of the story is that genre and fulfills all the expectations of the genre, and we have to know what it is so we know what to expect. A 20% needs to be something I've never seen before. Needs to be the difference maker that makes this project different than everything else. Because we get everything in Hollywood. Every project is offered to Hollywood. There's virtually nobody out there that's like, I don't want my book being made into a Hollywood movie or a TV series. It's almost unheard of, right? Was my great fortune to work on Sahara, the Clive Cussler novel, because Clive was one of those rare people that was like, I don't want my books going to Hollywood, because he had a previous experience with them.
Was that the Matthew McConaughey project?
Yes, the Matthew McConaughey
Yes,
movie.
I've seen it. And with Penelope Cruz, I think. Am I right? No?
Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
I've seen it. I loved it.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, the entire cast is amazing. You know who else is in that movie? Delroy Lindo, William H. Macy,
Yes.
Rainn Wilson, Steve Zahn. I mean, it's the cast is.
So it's very much
stacked
in
with
my
amazing
movie genre. I love like National Treasure, Sahara, any sort of treasure hunty kind of movie. I'm signed up. I'm like, I'm in it. I'm invested.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, so 80-20, right? You want it to be 80% of we know what we're getting, and then 20% I've never seen or heard that before. That is different. That is radically different than something I've seen before. Most of our books do not fit that metric. So you got to think about that. Like, do I have a project like that? And if not, what can I do in the next one that I write that adds that? Because it's my belief that books that have 80-20 are going to succeed very well, and sometimes be standouts in that genre, right? Because you figured out how to still give people what they're expecting and then give them that extra that they never thought they don't see coming, which is amazing.
Some examples would be good, but the first thing that jumps to my mind is Sinners.
Yes. You already talked about Sinners. I listened to your podcast, so I'm not going to talk about Sinners. I'm going to do a different one, but everything you said about Sinners is dead on right. I'm going to give you 3 examples real quick. Example number 1 is Get Out. Get Out is the first movie by Jordan Peele. It is basically a young black man is dating a young black woman, and she's taking him home to meet the parents for the first time. And he is nervous and fraught. They're going out into the suburbs, into a super white neighborhood, and he's not feeling so good about it. And the longer he's there, he starts to feel worse and worse and worse. There's some weird things going on. There's a few black people around, and they're acting like they're zombies or something. There's something seriously wrong here, right? This movie, the 80% is Wicker Man. Right? It's that horror movie where a person goes into an odd community that gets odder and odder, but it's all seemingly explainable. But he's starting to get, or she is starting to get, this sense that something is deeply wrong here, and these people are actually out to get me. And sure enough, by the end, they are. The entire town is in on it, and they're about to get him. Right? It's been done 100 times. But because in this one they set it within the African American experience, the theme of the story is the 20% difference maker.
Mm.
The fact that the theme is so resonant in every one of these beats, that these beats don't play out like a normal Wicker Man thing where we see the weird witchy symbol and we're worried about that. No, in this one, it's the casual subtext, the casual racism,
Yeah.
and wait, did I hear that right, or didn't I, or am I taking this too personally, or do I need to just let white people be white people, and what's going on?
Yeah.
Because of that, because it's so well done, and every single beat has this wonderful social commentary to it. It elevates that way beyond that normal genre, right?
Okay.
That's number one. Number two is Rogue One, Star Wars movie, right?
Okay.
It is a Star Wars movie that I was watching, and 2/3 of the way through, I gasped because I realized what was coming. I put it all together. And I was looking around and no one else knew yet. And I realized, oh my God, it's got to be about like 20 minutes before this theater is going to freak out. Spoiler alert, everybody dies.
Mm.
All of our heroes die at the end of the movie. In a Star Wars movie. You've never seen that before. It is insane. It's because what it is actually is, so Get Out is Wicker Man meets Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Guess Who's
Yeah.
Coming to Dinner is that kind of story.
Yeah.
This one is Star Wars meets Guns of Navarone. Guns of Navarone
Okay.
is a war movie, right? It's a team infiltrating the enemy base to stop the horrible thing from happening.
Okay.
You could say Dirty Dozen would be in that category as
Okay.
well. In those movies, it's very acceptable to have everybody die, but the mission succeed, right? So that's what Rogue One is, and it's astonishing. It's in my opinion, one of the two best Star Wars movies ever made. It's so good, and part of the reason it's so good is because that 20%, that little war movie angle to it, you don't really see coming, because in Star Wars already there's stormtroopers. I mean, it has all these war-like attributes to it. It just doesn't follow the structure of a war movie, and that's what makes it so exceptional. And then the third one is Kingsman. I don't know if you ever saw Kingsman, Colin Firth. Anyway, yeah, it's a spy movie. 100%. The 80% is a spy movie. A person gets recruited into a secret spy organization and stops the evil genius from bringing over a plan that would basically wipe out half of the world, right? Standard spy movie. The 20% is, it's also My Fair Lady. It's Pygmalion. It's
Pygmalion.
this kid from the, yeah, it's this kid from the wrong side of the tracks who speaks with a thick Cockney accent, who is being brought into this group of gentlemen who, and so it has all of those beats as well, along with the training, and it utterly changes every scene. It doesn't change the beats, but it changes the way the scenes feel because it combines that. Does that make sense? The 80/20 of it?
Yes. Yes.
It really does. And it's also making me think of how fundamental this advice is, because yes, we can talk about how to send scripts, how to find agents, but none of that actually matters if your actual story is not what anyone is looking for. And if what people are looking for at the moment is 80/20 and the 4 quadrants, if we're going to talk about that later, then at least you in with a winning chance.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that I don't think you said if that's what they're looking for right now. I try not to talk about trends. I'm talking about things that in the 30 years I've been in this business, that has never changed.
Okay.
And projecting backwards, I don't think it's ever changed. I don't think it's changed in 50, 60 years. I think that is the essence of what we're looking for. Let me give you an example. When I pitch a story, I want to pitch 10 minutes. I've had 20-minute pitches. And by the time I get to 13 minutes, if there was a gun on the table, I'd put it in my mouth. It is interminable. It is the longest pitch I've ever done. I am bored with the words I'm saying. I'm looking into the executive's eyes and I'm watching the light go out. I'm watching them die in the room. It's horrible. So I got to pitch a whole story in 10 minutes, and that's not easy. It's not easy to pitch something meaty enough and deep enough in just 10 minutes to get these people to say, not only I like that, not only I love that, but I'm going to pay you a crazy amount of money to write this. And if it goes well, we're going to be paying $100 to $200 million to make this thing. That's a huge barrier. And Hollywood is built to say no. It is 100% built around the idea of we're going to say no to 99% of the things we hear, even though we're hearing things from some of the best writers in the world, people that have been doing this for a very long time at an extremely high level. We're still saying no all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I'm doing that 10-minute pitch, I rely on the 80%, right? Because when I start pitching, I want the executive on the other side. I want the president of the studio to be thinking to themselves, okay, I get it. I get it. So then this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen, right? I want them to be doing that because number one, I can shorten the pitch that way. I can skip these parts that they don't need to explain because they already get it. Number two, they're expecting this and this and this to happen. I'm definitely giving them this and this. For this third beat, it's not going to come that way. And I'm going to give them something else. They go, oh, I didn't see that coming. Interesting.
Yes.
That is interesting, right? Then I have your interest, right? Because that's how suspense and surprise happens is we expect A to happen and B happens, right? It doesn't work by, I have no idea where this is going and then something happens. That's not surprising at all. I'm just lost.
Mm.
That's one of the reasons why, because it's still a very pitchy kind of medium. We pitch these projects. We talk about it verbally. It's because if you could pitch a story, you can write it, right? And if you simply give somebody a document, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. All right. So let's get to the four other things we're looking for.
Okay.
Number one is we're looking for a great ending. Most books that I read, when I decide not to engage, ending is almost always the reason. We write good books, all of us. The indie authors are great at writing good books. The trad authors are great at writing good books, but we tend to fall down in the endings. We don't have great, iconic endings, and movies need that because an ending is a force multiplier. If a great ending stays with you long after you've left the theater, and the critic, when he sees a movie with a great ending, he is still thinking about that movie the next day when he's starting to write the review. And the effusive praise that he's going to give that movie because it's still living in him, it's still active in his brain, is amazing, right? Works the same way for me. When I finish a script, it is going to the vice president. Hey, there you are.
There she is. She
You
came
look orange.
Look at the people, yeah.
I'm so glad to see you.
They one and done.
And there you go. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, when I finish the script, it goes directly to the senior vice president of the studio, right? Which is nice because I don't have to go through the reader level. I don't have to go through the development executives. I get to a higher level of person right away, which is great. The only problem is that he's getting another 6 or 8 scripts that weekend that he has to read. And some of those are coming from people like Aaron Sorkin, right? I'm not as good as Aaron Sorkin. I try my best. I'm on a good day, I'm competitive. I can hold my own, but I'm not as good. But if I have the script with the great ending,
Okay.
then when he is driving into the meeting on Monday morning and he's on his way in, what's he thinking about? He's still thinking about my ending. And there's a very good chance that when they start that meeting and they say, so what did you read? How did it go? There's a good chance the very first thing he's going to talk about isn't Aaron Sorkin. And there's a good chance it's like, this thing by Tom Donnelly I read over the weekend, can't get it out of my mind. It's really quite something. Boom. Then you're off to the races, right? So great ending. Super, super important.
Tom, can I stop you for a second?
Absolutely.
Are you sure? I feel like this has unlocked something for me. So, we were talking about process before and those moments of inspiration. And I won't really know I think I am quite good at endings, but I don't think I know like the whole ending before I write it. It kind of comes together towards the end and I like it that way. But now I'm wondering if I have the whole idea kind of in my head before I even start writing as a 10-minute pitch and I have that ending that I'm super excited about before I write the first word, surely that will make everything better.
Yes, 100%. Not to talk about Superdraft again, but I do have to say
Feel
that
free.
I have a technique in Superdraft that I call 132. And when I said it to the crowd at SPS Live in London, there was an audible gasp, and people were literally like, there was a murmur going around.
That's going to be us now.
Like, they were like literally like, did he really say that? No, you can't. Like people were like, some people were like, oh my God, and other people were outraged. 132 is like, I asked the question, what of the 3-act structure? I don't care what your structure is. If you have a 5-act structure, 7-act structure, 8 beats, I don't care. But in a 3-act structure, beginning, middle, end, what's the hardest part to write?
Mine's the end, but most people say the middle, but mine's the end.
Yeah, the middle. The middle is almost always the hardest part to write, right? It's the second act. So I say in Superdraft, write 1 through 2. Write the first act first, then write the third act, then write the second act.
In the middle.
Write the ending before you write the middle. Write the great ending. And that ending is untethered from a middle that you're not even sure what it is yet. It does two things. First of all, it allows you to write an amazing ending that you don't have to worry about how you get there. You can worry about that later. And then turns the middle, rather than this amorphous blob, into a, oh, well, no, this isn't going to happen. So I have to set that up, right? I have to, the character gets to here, so I have to start to build that arc in here. It becomes a to-do list of things that we're laying in to get to that amazing end.
Yes, and you can make it deeper with all the foreshadowing you can do and all the little clues you hide that you don't necessarily know when you're writing the middle before you've written the end. Oh my goodness.
Correct.
Oh my goodness, my whole writing process is going to change. I can feel it.
First, you're going to have a complete meltdown.
It was very,
Yes.
it was very controversial. When I was done with the Super Draft talk, it was the thing they talked about the most. People kept coming up to me. They were either saying 132, oh my God, it's blowing my mind. I can't wait to try it. Or 132, are you a psychopath? You can't do that. I could never, ever, ever, ever do that. And so, listen, different people are going to react to it different ways. And I generally argue with them. I say, I have found that the people that are the most resistant to 132 are the people that would benefit the most from it. But everybody's got to find their own process.
Okay.
It's worth testing, though. I mean, even if you're
Yeah.
vehemently against it, test it and see if it works for you, and like it could make magic happen.
For those listeners and viewers who haven't listened to our previous podcast with Tom, the book he's referring to is called Super Draft. It's out soon, and the author name on it is Thomas Dean Donnelly.
Yes. Super Draft is all one word. SUPERDRAFT. It is available for on Amazon. Getting back to it. Yes. Anyway, endings. Also at Author Nation, I'm giving a talk called The 8 Great Endings and Why They're So Important, where I want to break down into a formula 8 of the greatest ways to end a story. I talk about those. And then I use that as a framework for discussing why endings are so important and how to nail it, how to nail your ending every time.
Oh, that must be amazing.
Anyway, so.
Not that I'll get to see it.
Well, Delport,
you're going to have to write another book.
Get yourself on a flight to Vegas. Come on out to Vegas, Delport.
I need to.
Mr. Moneybags, Tom, okay? It's expensive.
Do you know the South African rand is not worth
I don't care.
It's like a year of rent just to get to LA.
Well, neither is the US dollar right now. It's the perfect time. It's about as cheap as it's going to get for you, all right?
True story.
At some point, you got to act like the person that you're about to be, not the person that you are right now. Okay.
Dress for the job that I want. Dress for the job that I want, not the job that I have.
Exactly.
What would Matthew McConaughey do?
All right.
I'm just going to hook up my little trailer and I'm going to drive on out there.
His book is one of my all-time favorite. When people ask me for an Audible recommendation, I go, if you want to start Audible, just listen to Matthew McConaughey's book first. Because
it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's brilliant. His whole philosophy, his whole life philosophy, he's just amazing.
Very interesting.
And his story is so interesting, and his voice is the gift from the God. So I mean, it's a win-win.
So relax yourself a little West Texas drawl, don't you? Yeah, I see it. All right. So I said number one. I said I had 4 things to talk about that we're also looking for. 1 is the great ending.
Yes.
2 is the indelible character. Okay. So speaking of McConaughey, when I wrote Sahara, I knew that every line of dialogue I wrote would potentially be something being spoken by one of the great actors of our time. Wow. And I was fortunate enough to have him reading that. It is daunting. I was also one of the writers. I was one of the writers on Cowboys and Aliens, which had Daniel Craig and Harrison Ford, my personal hero. And when you hear a line of dialogue that that you remember writing and you hear it coming out of their voice, it is either amazing or horrific because you realize, oh God, that line is so awful. And they're working so hard just trying to make sense of it and trying to make it sound halfway decent. I just want to crawl up in a hole for a week. Oh my God, it's so awful. No, but when I finish a script, there's a good chance that it is going to some of the best actors in the entire world. And they have 30 other scripts that they're looking at. And what is the reason they're going to pick mine over the other ones, right? An amazing character, a character that they have never played before, a character that leaps off the page, captures the heart, captures our imagination, and a character that we never quite know exactly what they're going to do next in that story. And yet the moment they do it, it feels inevitable that they would always have made that choice, right? Those are the characters that actors are going to gravitate toward. And if you get an A-list star to attach to your project, that is the quickest way to go from a project that was written by the studio to a greenlit movie.
Okay.
So in Hollywood, we are character specialists. We focus on it. We spend so much time on it because it's going to living, breathing actors to play those roles almost immediately. So having that incredible, not just good, not just serviceable, right? They say that there's three things your main character needs to be. Either they need to be likable, they need to be relatable, or they need to be fascinating, right? I would say if you want to up your chances in Hollywood, you would like them to be all three, or at least two out of the three. Yeah, or two out of the three, right? What makes that character fast, right? That's my question to you, right? Likable is easy, right? We can get likable. We save the cat moment, boom, likable, done, boom, put it away, no big deal, right? Relatable, yeah. In a lot of stories, I don't necessarily want my character to be likable. In thrillers, especially, I want my character to be complex and difficult. So relatable is much better than likable. But what makes them fascinating, right? Gone Girl. Gone Girl takes a relatable but difficult character and makes her absolutely fascinating, right? Throughout. There's a reason these are the ones that the movies get made of, right? So that's number two.
We'd like to take a quick break to tell you about our sponsor, Scribe Shadow.
If you're an indie author, you already know that publishing a book is only part of the journey. Reaching readers in new markets is where things get really exciting, but translations have traditionally been expensive, time-consuming, and honestly, a little overwhelming. Which is why JT and I both use Scribe Shadow. We originally started using it for our translations and it quickly became one of the tools we can't live without. Personally, I started translating my books in May last year and my income skyrocketed. Scribe Shadow saves us time, the workflow is simple, and best of all, it's affordable. It's made book translations accessible for indie authors, and in just minutes, you can translate your novels into multiple languages with high quality results, which opens the door to exploring relationships with readers all around the world.
What we really appreciate is that Scribe Shadow understands indie authors because it was built by people from the indie publishing space. This isn't a massive faceless corporation. It's a small family-run team that understands the realities of self-publishing, tight budgets, and wearing 20 different hats at once. They also offer things like cover creation, audiobook translation, and a straightforward credit system that keeps the whole process simple and affordable. Importantly, you always keep full rights to your work, and your books are never used to train AI. So if you've been thinking about expanding into foreign markets, or you just want tools that genuinely make your author business easier to run, check out Scribe Shadow. It's become a really valuable part of our workflow, and we're genuinely happy to recommend it. If you'd like to try Scribe Shadow, we have a special code for you. You can get 30% discounts. It is Pen and Prosper 30. You can use that at checkout.
Perfect. And let's get back to our episode.
Number three is the 4-quadrant movie. And I don't have to explain to, I'll explain to you again because maybe people didn't listen to the previous episode. But Janita already said, I'll tell you like the 4-quadrant movie. So a 4-quadrant movie, very simply in Hollywood terms, is Hollywood is a mass media, right? Books aren't really a mass media. Hollywood, we're looking to basically to create movies that travel around the entire world and get a large audience packed in night after night to that theater. But what we want to do is we want to have a movie that appeals to quadrant 1, males under 25, females under 25, males over 25, and females over 25. It's as simple as that, just the 4 quadrants, young males, young females, older males, older females. So when you're writing your novels, though, most of us, because we're writing to a very specific market, we're writing toward a very specific audience, right? How many of your books could you say are really 4 quadrant? The answer probably is none of them.
For me, 0.
But here's the thing. You don't have to write a 4-quadrant book to get the movie made. What you need to do is you need to write a book that's not 1 quadrant. Okay. See if you can't figure out what you can do to add a 2nd quadrant into the mix. If possible, even a 3rd quadrant. Project Hail Mary just came out, right? On paper, you would say, okay, so it's a movie about the sun is dying and we have to go on this mission to a faraway planet and we encounter an alien. Wow, that is a 1-quadrant movie right there. Like maybe 2 quadrants. Maybe you're going to get males, older and younger males. but that's about all you're going to get. There's no way you're going to get women. Wait, we got who? Did we get, really? Did we really get that actor in that role?
Ryan Gosling.
I love that book so much. I was so
Quadrants.
happy it was made a movie.
Quadrants.
Yes. Yes.
Boom.
All of a
Here's the
sudden, the
third
ladies
book,
opened
right
up.
there, done.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, the book is already kind of 4 quadrants
Yeah.
because of the humor of it. Because Andy Weir is so good at that. Same with The Martian. The character is so fun and so alive and so dynamic that it brings in those other 2 quadrants. Now, in the Martian, he also had a female project leader, right? Who was going to come and do the rescue mission, right? He made sure to do things like that. Those also help with that sort of thing. Look, we naturally like to read and watch stories that have people that are a little bit like us, right? That's what we like. Representation is so important in those realms. So see if you can't, in the next project you write, try to expand your representation just a little bit. Because if you can, you're going to make it something that I believe is going to expand your natural audience, your reader audience, maybe even just a little bit, but every little bit helps. And you definitely make something that is more palatable toward the mass media, like movies. Sound good?
Very good.
Yes.
I think I had a 4th. I can't remember what the 4th is right now. But I did.
Oh, there were definitely 4. So we're not leaving you until you remember what the 4th was.
I'll see what I can do.
We can move on to the mechanical side of it, I guess, like how to find someone to submit to.
Yes. All right. So there are 3 people that can be your allies in this process. Okay. They are agents, managers, and entertainment attorneys, right? All of those 3 categories have people that specialize to a larger or lesser degree in taking books, finding books, and finding an audience for them in Hollywood, right? Agents are the ones we think of the most often. They're actually the ones I would approach the least often. They have very demanding jobs, very large numbers of people that they have to work with and they have to service, and they're the least likely to be able to immediately help you. That doesn't mean they can't. You can definitely still approach them, especially an agent that specializes in books to TV and books to film. That's a very good person if you can get them on your side.
Okay.
But they're the hardest to approach.
Okay.
Managers have a much smaller client list. Your average agent has 50 to 100, 150 clients. Manager 40 is about where they top out in terms of the number of clients they. So finding a manager that does a lot of books, taking books to Hollywood is a very good thing. And probably slightly better than that is the entertainment attorney. Now, there are very few entertainment attorneys that do this, but the ones that do this, their whole job, a large part of their career, is putting together deals between authors and studios, between authors and producers, finding the right audience for these books and getting it in their hands. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to a couple of different sources. First of all, you're going to go to Publishers Marketplace, right? We all know Publishers Marketplace. Publishers Marketplace is the book that says this publisher is looking for this person is looking for this, and here are the deals, right? Here's what's just happened. And they have a whole language behind it, right? So-and-so sold a book to Simon & Schuster in a nice deal. A nice deal means not a very nice deal. A good deal means a barely acceptable deal, and a great deal is a maybe nice deal. But they all have a language behind it, right? They will also list when the film rights have been acquired for projects. Okay. When you see that, you're going to write that down. You're going to write down everything that they tell you about, right? Because sometimes they're going to have some names in there. They're going to have not just the agency, but the name of the agent or the name of the manager or the name of the entertainment attorney who got the deal done. And you're going to start making a list of that information, right? You're going to start putting together a little spreadsheet where, okay, this deal isn't anything like my book, but nonetheless, I'm going to write that down. This deal, I'm going to star because it's actually a book that is very much in my genre. And that makes a lot of sense, right? Put that down. Second place you're going to go is deadline.com. That is Deadline Hollywood. It is, when I started, my first thing that sold was on the front page of Variety. It's my tiny little thing on the front page of Variety, but it's on Variety. So Variety and the Hollywood Reporter were the trades where all that was listed. Nowadays, Deadline Hollywood has virtually everything. Every deal that comes around is going to be in Deadline. So you're going to search deadline.com for books and adaptations and projects that are being set up.
Okay.
You're going to look up that information, the same information again. Who are the agents involved? Who are the managers if they were involved? Who are the entertainment attorneys that were involved in the process? Everybody's in the process. And what you're going to do is little by little, you're going to start to find the same names keep popping up. These are the people that have specialized in books to TV and books to film. Those are the people to target. The third place you're going to look is IMDb Pro. IMDb is the Internet Movie Database. In case you haven't heard of it, it is where everybody looks up movies if they want to know who was the second assistant director on this film, or we just use it to research movies in general. Pro does require some money. It's the only one of these that has a subscription fee. So what I would do is when you're ready to really attack Hollywood proper, get a subscription for about a month.
Okay.
It'll cost, I think $40, something like that. And then for that month, you're going to do a big research deep dive where you're going to look up all kinds of things that are in development and stuff like that. And you'll be able to get the actual names oftentimes of exactly who is representing this material, who brought this to so-and-so and things like that. And you'll get a picture of the players. And then you're going to write a query, very simple query letter, not unlike the query letters you would get if you're pursuing a book agent, something like that. Say, hi, my name is so-and-so. And what you're going to write in your query letter it depends on your level of success and what you've done. Because in Hollywood, we value three things above all. Like the one thing we value above all else is certainty. But there is no such thing as certainty in Hollywood. So you can't have that. We can't give you certainty. Harry Potter made everybody richer than Midas. The first Percy Jackson movie bankrupted the studio and caused 12 people to lose their jobs. If you were looking at those two books side by side before that those two things got made, would you have any way of knowing that one was going to be so great and one was going to fail so badly? You wouldn't. Nobody knows anything. It's the sad fact of the matter. They're very different forms, and some things work and some things don't. And sometimes a chaotic process yields an amazing result, and sometimes a very ordered and smooth flowing process ends in disaster. It's a very difficult thing to do this, and it's not a perfect science. So if you can't have certainty, what you can have is something we call pre-awareness. Pre-awareness very simply means how many copies of your book did you sell? How many people are on your mailing list, right? That kind of thing. It's literally if we were to make this movie, how many of your fans would be likely to be the first people buying tickets to it, right? Now, as indies, we're at a little bit of a disadvantage there for some of us, right? Because we don't quite have the reach of the trads. We don't quite hit the huge numbers of trads. But if you have good numbers there, that's something to trumpet, right? If you're really selling very well in your space. If you have a lot of subscribers, people like that, first up is good. Second thing is accolades. We do not trust each other in Hollywood. So when a reader says, this was the best book I ever read, you should absolutely do it. The next person up the chain, the development executive, looks at that very skeptically, very skeptically. However, if you say, hey, this won the Upper Schenectady Fiction Award, then all of a sudden, oh, wow, I want to know, it's an award winner, right? We have no idea if that award was between two books. We have no idea if it's the biggest award in the world, right? Other than, the Booker Prize and the Pulitzer, in Hollywood, we don't really know what's a big award and what's a small award. We don't, we'll have an idea. We don't particularly value them that much. But if we see a book that's got a number of awards, or even things like #1 bestseller on Amazon or so on and so forth, things like that, that helps a little bit because it makes certainly the lower level executives say, hey, I have a little bit of cover. If I bring this to my boss and my boss says, why are you bringing me this nonsense? You can say, oh, it's an Amazon #1 bestseller. I thought it's what you wanted me to bring you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. I didn't like it, but I get it, right? It gives you a little bit of cover.
Yeah.
So when you have accolades of that sort, that's another good thing. And then the third thing is great story. We've already talked about great story. We've already talked about what we're looking for. What's the character? What's the ending? I figured out the fourth thing.
Oh,
Remember? Yes, I got the fourth thing. The fourth thing is, can you boil it down to 2 sentences?
ooh,
Okay.
Can you take that 80-20 and sum it up in just a couple sentences, right? Get it really short so that when I am on the elevator with the president of the studio, and I see that guy maybe 3 times a month. This is my shot. I'm going to say, hey, just read something. Just want to run it by you here. 2-sentence pitch. It's it's this meets this, right? And that's it.
Okay.
That's it. He is not going to fire you for saying that to him, right? And he might just say, send me the coverage. That's interesting. Boom. And then you suddenly jumped 3 levels. You've jumped past 4 people whose job it is to say no, and you've gotten it right up there, right?
Okay.
So can you boil it down? Can you boil both what the genre is and what that special part is that I've never quite seen before, and put it together in a way that makes a lot of sense? If you can do that, that helps too. So there we go. There was the 4th thing. We got it.
Thank you. Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
I'm wondering again if you can work that out before you even write your first word in your manuscript. How much easier your life will be in general.
I would say I do that for every book I write. But that's my training, right? My training is to, if I can't say it simply, then there's probably something wrong, right?
Yeah.
If I can't boil it down to that, then at some point I haven't found the simplicity that a great story has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if it doesn't work in an elevator pitch, then it won't work as a manuscript.
Not necessarily. I mean, certainly,
It won't work well enough
in the
for
literary
Hollywood.
fiction world. Correct. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right. It's very, very hard if you can't boil it down. Few and far between are the movies where you say, I can't really explain it. You just got to see it. That is very rare to have in movies and television. Usually you can really sum it up pretty quick, right? So there you go. And then the last thing I'm going to say is, when you send these query letters, send them to one person at a time.
Okay.
If you were to send your query letter to 2 different people at the same time, the odds that either of them are going to read it in the first place, let alone both read it and both engage and say, yes, I want that manuscript, is 0%,
Yes.
except when you actually do it. Because that's the one time they're both going to say, yes, I'm interested. Well, sorry, I have another person interested. And suddenly you've gone on somebody's blacklist. They are never going to want to deal with you again. So what you do is you send it to one person at a time, give it 2 to 3 weeks, and then send the next one out. 2 to 3 weeks without having heard back, then the next one out.
Okay.
And then you have a reasonable, if that person ends up getting back to you at the end of the month, you say, oh, I'm so sorry. I hadn't heard from you for a month, so I have sent it to somebody else. The fact that you're interested, though, that's fantastic. Let's move forward. Okay.
Okay. Brilliant.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes. Thank you, Tom. Delport, do you have any questions?
Actually, I do have one question. I have one question, Tom. When will we be seeing Year of the Rabbit on the big screen?
Ooh, what a question.
So here's the trick. I am not going to even, so my agents and managers and people like that, they know I have these books, but I'm not bringing them to anybody yet.
Okay.
The reason being is that with only 3 books, if I brought it to Hollywood now, they would send it out to movie producers.
Okay.
I don't want them to just send it to movie producers. I want them to send it to movie and television producers.
Okay.
And I need to have more like 6 books in the series for them to really send it to TV producers as well, because they want to know.
How many books are planned?
We could do as many as I love.
Okay.
It's the first one is called Year of the Rabbit. The second one is called Year of the Horse. The third one is Year of the Serpent.
Yes.
So theoretically, I got 12 right there.
Okay.
That I could easily do. Certainly, I'm doing it at least 6, if not a lot more than that. I love the main character. I said the main character is super important. My main character, Malcolm Chaucer, is fascinating character to me. I could write in his voice and in his skin every day, all day. And I could definitely see a very, very high level actor say, that is a fascinating character. I can't wait to portray that. So yeah. There are basically twice as many television producers as there are movie producers in Hollywood. So being able to have a project that could potentially be a television series as well as a movie basically triples the amount of people who are potential buyers for your project. So that's why I'm waiting until then.
That makes
And
sense.
can you sum it up in 2 sentences?
Yeah, what's your elevator pitch?
Absolutely. Here's the elevator pitch.
How we learn.
On a routine interrogation in Manhattan, legendary interrogator Malcolm Chaucer discovers the name of the assassin he was set to uncover, and it's his ex-wife.
Ooh, I love it.
Can he warn her in time? Can he tell truth from lies? And can he discover the secret that is the year of the rabbit?
Oh,
excellent.
You see that?
Yes,
Oh,
thank
yeah.
you. It's nice
Oh,
to
yeah.
have a
How you
working
do it.
example.
Yeah,
That
it
is
nice
how you
having-
Hollywood.
Brilliant.
I
Okay,
love
so
it.
if you want to look at Tom's books, just a reminder that his website is tddonnelly.com. Do not send him your screenplay, please. He's not.
Please do not
writer.
bombard him.
I literally, by the way, I literally am unable to open because of legal reasons with the having to do with the Writers Guild and liability. I'm not actually allowed to even open an unsolicited screenplay. So my apologies
we
about
go.
that. It's simply simply the nature of the business.
Oh,
Probably
let me
for the-
take that off my to-do list. Spam Tom with all
With every elevator pitch you can think of. But Tom,
Oh, that
you know,
was very cool. That was very cool. Thank you, Tom, for sharing all of that with us. That's like, this
Absolutely
was such
brilliant.
an interesting episode. So different from our, like, I love it. It was very
Yeah,
different, very
me too. I
fun.
loved it. Thank you so much. Thank
Well,
you.
let me tell you
Yeah.
guys, I didn't even know this podcast existed until I met JT. And she got to watch me get tortured by a Myanmar foot massage massacre woman. And once I started listening to your podcast, you guys have an absolutely amazing podcast. I
Oh,
have to tell you, it has quickly risen to the first writing podcast I listen to every week, especially lately. You guys have been an absolute roll. I learn something new every time I listen to you. Your chemistry between the two of you is absolutely fantastic. You are tremendously positive people that are providing real information for a community that desperately needs it. And I want to thank you.
Oh, Tom,
I'm
thank
glad.
you.
Thank you, Tom.
I
That's
know.
amazing.
Thank you
That's
so much.
Sure, high praise indeed.
Thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward
And
to.
that is how your name becomes really, really big on that word cloud in Ireland.
Looking forward to seeing you again, Tom. I don't know when we'll cross paths again, but I'm sure it'll be very soon. And hopefully we'll get Delport.
Are you going to Mink or Author Nation?
I'm not, I'm afraid, but then maybe next year, Greece.
Greece?
Greece.
Greece.
Greece. See you then.
I'll
I
see you
could
at
do
Greece.
Greece. I could do Greece.
Okay. Okay, let's try for Greece then. Bring your hardcovers for Tom to sign. Keep it dropped. Okay. All right. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Tom.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thank
Tom.
you.
Thanks, Delport. Awkward win.
Bye, guys.
Before we go, we'd like to say a huge thank you to our paid sponsor, Vellum, the book formatting software that we could not live without. If you would like to try Vellum and let them know that we sent you, please visit tryvellum.com/pen and prosper.